Welcome back to Missouri River Bottom for our farm farewell tour. I'm BP, and today we're going to drive around and see everything we got accomplished in 27 episodes on Missouri River Bottom. So to start with, guys, I thought we'd start at the far end of the farm. This is our most recent purchase. We just picked up this field to our left. Let's take a quick look at the PDA. So field 25 and field 53, we picked up most recently and turned that into our oat field. That was our last acquisition. Wanted to mix it up a little bit. If we stayed on a little longer, maybe we would have done some productions with the oat, maybe done some wheat or some barley or something. But it was a lot of fun adding that field. It really increased our field size overall for the farm. Heading back into the farm, we're hitting our two sort of primary fields for our cash and for our cattle. So on the left, we have our soybean field. We were pulling, 800,000 liters out of that field. That was our second big field acquisition after we made the mega field. And then our last acquisition before the oat field was our chopped corn field here. We really just couldn't keep up with the sheep and the cows with just one grass field. So we got that. We got a forage harvester, and chopped a lot of corn, produced a lot of chaff. I think as it sits, we're going to end up with somewhere between 7 and 8 million liters of silage between what we had and what we pulled off that last harvest on the chopped corn field. So we're heading back to the farmyard now. On the right-hand side, we have our sheep pen. That was a lot of fun. We started with some Black Mountain sheep at the beginning that were adults to produce some wool. And then we had a bunch of Steinschaft lambs in there as well. So our animals, we ended up with 688 Steinschaft and 400 of the Black Welsh Mountain sheep. So they are eating up a lot of that grass, producing a ton of wool. We have it stacked up over here. Initially, we were selling the wool, and then in year 3, we added productions. We have our cattle and animal transport trailer over here. We're going to put that to good use between our beef cattle and our sheep. We have our silo system here, which consists of the added silo here on the end for some of our raw animal products like our grass and our straw. We have our primary silo where our TLX is parked, and currently the corn dryer is running and drying out our corn. We sold a lot of dried corn, guys. I think we sold, if we include this last batch, I think we did 3 rounds off the mega field alone. So that would be 5.1 million liters of dried corn, plus whatever we got before we combined all the fields. So we're probably talking 6 or 7 million liters of corn over the 4 or 5 years we were on the farm. We have our lime production here on the left. That bounced around a little bit. We had it in a different location, but the triggers weren't working, so that got moved up. If you remember from our initial episode, the diesel tank here was actually back to the right behind the shed over here. This is not the stock shed that comes on the map. It is the same shed that comes on the map, but I upgraded it to match our farm colors and added some solar panels. We have our sawmill up here that we put to good use. That was good for clearing out a lot of areas, particularly making the mega field. That helped us get some good cash flow early on. We didn't use it much after that, but it was good to get started. We have our farm production, our Unia farm production silo over there that produces all of our TMR and our silage for our animals. That was a good addition here to late in the playthrough. Really helped get our cattle up and running on TMR. In the shed, we have a couple of trucks, a couple of trailers, one of our grain headers. We did end up with this tip deck trailer that I thought was a great addition to the farm, running stuff to and from the store. That was really a fun trailer to use. We added some parking here for our milk trailer that worked out really well. So that's sort of the farm yard as it appears. We have our house on the left. We did celebrate Christmas in there one year with the tree. It's a very nice house, a nice addition to the map. Both of our corn headers are stored out here, out of the way between the trees. And then we have obviously the mega field in front of us, which was our first really big project. It's what pushed us from running, you know, sort of one piece of equipment to 2 harvesters, a grain bin, a truck, to get everything done. And this field regularly produces 1.7 million liters of corn. So a great, fun field to plant and to harvest. We combined, let's jump in and take a look. I think we combined, is it 4 or 5 fields? We combined 18, 17, 11, and 10 to make our mega field. So 4 fields to make our mega field. We have our cold storage over here. We have our sprayer, our 2 combines, our forage harvester, the case quad track with the grain bin, our 2 Kinsey planters in the back corner, our other grain header, and we'll circle back and get the sheds here in a second. But we also have our plow over here on the right and our 2 Samaz mowers that we use to cut our grass field to keep our animals fed. So this shed was really big when we started, but we filled it up. We bought plenty of equipment. Coming out the back, this is an area that had a lot of transitions in the farm. We had a number of productions back here. We had our slurry dryer. We have currently our seed production and a fill silo. We had just a number of things, and for whatever reason, this little section of the map always gave us a little bit of trouble, so didn't end up keeping a lot of stuff back here, but we dried a lot of slurry into manure for fertilizer back here, and this was a nice little area tucked out of the way for us. Heading down to the bottom of the farm. Maybe we'll hit the barn, and then we'll come up and look at the sheds. So we had our big XL barn that we put in, and you can take a look and see our cattle. We did end up selling 200 of our limousine beef cattle because they gave birth to their calves, and 200 of our Black Angus cattle after they gave birth as well. So currently we have 400 calves on the farm. We have 100 Holstein, 50 adult and 50 calves, and 50 brown Swiss milkers as well. So we are in good shape in the barn, still have 727,000 liters of food and a total of 477,000 liters of TMR. So they're in good shape. They are producing a lot of milk. We got 62,000 waiting to go. And manure was never a problem once we got the cows going. We used that exclusively for our fertilizer, and it worked really, really well. I do really like this barn. We might jump in and take a quick look. It has some great customization with the pasture. If you remember, that pasture was such a challenge for us early on because we couldn't get the pasture grass to grow. So I actually plowed up all that grass you see and planted a grass field. And that's what our beef cattle started on early on. So they were on grass for a long time. We have an extra storage shed down here for other forage pickup. For this barn, the working fans outside, you have the working fans inside, just great details, the skylights, the inside and outside areas. You have your milk tank back here in the middle. Your triggers are nice and accessible on the outside. This was a really cool addition. And we brought this pasture all the way down here. It was an absolutely huge pasture. There's one outside area. You have your slurry pit in front of us. The other outside area, your milk trigger back there in the corner. And you can sneak back in the side door here and come back around the corner. Oh, can we make it? Let's see. Swing wide. Maybe a little in-cab driving so we can see better. Oh, we might be stuck. Well, there's a reason we don't take this route. One more try. There we go. Got it. So, yeah, I really liked that barn. was a great addition to the farm. Took care of our cattle. And then in our covered sheds over here, we have all of our implements that didn't fit in the cold storage. We had 2 of the multi-cultivators. Those are a multi-tool that does mulching, cultivating, and plowing. We have our manure spreader. We have one of our forage wagons attached to our Deutz. Our Deutz did a ton of work for us. I really thought that was going to be sort of a medium small tractor for us, but with the tuned engine, I think it's like 600 horsepower, it really performed like a big tractor and did a ton of work for us. We have our stone picker and our lime spreader all tucked in and out of the weather. This little lean-to shed area worked out really well. Then we have our 2 sort of workhorse tractors from the farm. The JCB on the left was our animal tractor. It ran food and straw, TMR, grass, hay, silage to the cows. It ran slurry to the productions. It picked up manure. It just ran. At one point, I think it ran for 3 or 4 days straight, running slurry down to our productions. And then our big Fendt was our first tractor on the farm. Our big workhorse tractor did all of our plowing contracts, all of our seeding, all of our planting, all of our field prep. That thing really proved it's worth its weight in gold. So really happy to have had that tractor and the JCB on the farm. I commented a lot about the JCB having quad steering or 4-wheel steer, and that made a big difference getting in and out of those tight barn areas, which was really nice to have, so we could set up auto drive courses to take it places. So we're going to head out of the farm and head down the road to our production site and just sort of check out what we have down there. The one field we really haven't seen yet is our grass field up here on the left. We purchased that shortly after the mega field to keep our animals fed. It was great. It regularly produced just under 1 million liters of grass per cut if we let it grow all the way. It was a really nice addition to the farm to keep the food coming in for the animals. So a couple of stats just to talk about for the entire series. You know, we started with $1 million loan. We then very quickly picked up a $500,000 loan to buy more equipment. We worked our way out of debt, heading out of the first year and into the second year on the farm, when we were still doing a lot of contracts. Overall, loading in today, I had just over 90 hours in this series, which is about average for me, somewhere between 75 and 100 hours. I tend to run into sort of a completion level with the farms that I'm happy with and am about ready to move on. So I think all said and done, probably right around 90, 91 hours on this game save. We did 27 episodes, with the 19.5 episode, the sort of fun one where we harvested all those carrots. So technically, and including this episode, you know, we had 29 total episodes on this farm, but 27 where we were in the farm doing the work we were here to do, growing the farm, building it up, making it better, and then a couple of fun ones on the end. Heading into year 4, we built our production site, which is right up here. This was an old lean-to shed, and then sort of a hoop shed on the right. We had the land from earlier. We cleared out the existing storage structures. We put in this cold storage for our milk and dairy products, which worked out to be really nice. I still really enjoy, this mod. Has great interactions. Go inside, see all of your products on the shelves, ready to go. You have the office over here where you can pull stuff out. Just a very cool, well thought out mod. Then we did a dry storage for our clothes. This one's nice, has a little interactive panel there. Again, everything shows up on the shelf. So both these storage mods turned out to be very nice. Really enjoyed playing with those. We did end up with 3 spinnery productions, all producing clothes, and I don't think they ever really caught up to the wool. But we are producing clothes like absolute madness. We have our M2 stake body, our Freightliner over there. that proved to be invaluable in moving our pallets and our goods and getting stuff delivered. Just a really fun truck to have and great to have at our production yard. So in addition to our 3 spinnery productions, we have our big dairy production where all of our cow milk came and got turned into butter and bottled milk and cheese. And then tucked in behind all of this, we had our mini BGA, which we really only used for slurry conversion because we had fertilizer. We used all the manure for fertilizer and then had the slurry left over. After we got enough cows, we weren't converting the slurry to manure anymore, so just wanted to get rid of it and find some place to sell it, so we put that in. I really like how all of our landscaping turned out, added a lot of trees and shrubs, replanted grass. Wanted all of our farmyard and our production yard to look like they belong, like they've been there. They weren't just dropped into big square open spaces, and I think we accomplished that. So I like having those really flushed out and landscaped areas on our maps, make them personalized and really have some character to them. Down here at the animal dealer and the shop, we put in a sell all point because there weren't a lot of sell points on the map. We also, the shop got a JCB at one point to help us load stuff on and off, so we had a tractor down here. Here's our sell all point. We also put that loop in behind those trees to get easier access for our trucks to the animal dealer. So just a couple little modifications here and there for quality of life type improvements. And then our last real addition to the map, you know, the train never worked for us on this map. I'm not sure if that got changed in a more recent version of the map, but we did sort of create a co-op on the map that we could buy supplies from and pick stuff up. And that's down here behind the Viterra sell point. We had that tanker truck that was owned by the co-op and lived down here. And essentially, if you bought a load of propane, they'd deliver it to you. If you bought a load of anhydrous, they could bring it down to you. But it was nice for the role play to have somebody to do that. We certainly didn't need that truck on the farm. We're down here at the co-op where we got all that set up. And the last little piece here was the co-op truck that we purchased and gets parked down here. It lives over by the propane tank, which is its primary purpose is to bring us propane for all that dried corn. So overall, guys, just a really fun series here on Missouri River Bottom by River Bottom Customs. A really excellent map. I do hope that some of the ground ownership trigger issues get worked out with what was considered the outside of the map. It didn't really stop us from doing anything. We had to just work around it a little bit, which wasn't a big deal. But I would highly recommend this map to you guys. It was a lot of fun, gave us the opportunity to pursue a lot of different opportunities between animal husbandry, traditional field work, productions. It lent itself really well to some role play opportunities with the co-op. And it was a really good size map. You know, it isn't huge, but it does give you enough space to have some really big fields. The road system is everything you need it to be, and actually a little bit sparse, which is nice. There aren't a lot of cut-throughs. If you remember early on in the series with the mega field, one of the reasons we combined it was because we couldn't get to our bottom field. Our bottom field where the mega field is was actually landlocked, and we had to harvest the top part of the field and then drive over the field to get down to the lower portion to harvest it. So that's one of the reasons we combined it and just made it one field. But I like that. I like when, you know, the logistics of getting equipment to different areas of the map and to do contracts or to harvest your fields. You can't just drive right up to the field every time. You have to have some forethought. You have to lay some things out. You have to have a plan in mind to get all that done. So I really, really enjoyed this map. I would encourage you guys to download it, give it a try. I think it has the ability to meet, you know, whatever needs you have for for whatever kind of play style you have. And I really enjoyed my time on this map. So I wanted to thank you guys for joining me. I hope you guys enjoyed the series. We've got a couple of things in the works for the next series. I think we're going to end up going and splitting up and doing 2 different series for you guys coming out of this one, working on the details of that now. But, you know, like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed the content. This was a lot of fun to make. Thank you so much for joining me on our journey through Missouri River Bottom. I hope it was as enjoyable for you guys as it was for me. And, you know, if you want to see more content, you know, drop a like, turn on notifications. We'd love to have you guys subscribe. You know, give us some feedback. I'd love to hear from you guys about what you want to see in the next series. You know, how do you play? What would you like to see in a series? You know, all that kind of stuff. Just drop us a note, leave us a comment, so we can, you know, take a look at those and, you know, incorporate that into our next role play. But thank you guys so much from Missouri River Bottom. One last flyover by the plane. And as we pull back into the farm in the way we end all of our episodes, I will see you guys in the next one.